What's up? It's your boy Big Reg bringing you the recap of Game 1 of the 2021 Michigan Wolverines football season. A victory over the Western Michigan Broncos at the Big House. Joining me tonight to recap this game is first, the one, the only, producer Jay Bizzle.
Stepped out of the producer role and went in as a fan for the Michigan Wolverines at the Big House. Let me tell you, it was electrifying, but I'll put more in my commentary later on.
There you go. He was there in person. Next, joining us for this glorious recap of a glorious start to the glorious 2021 Michigan Wolverines football season is the one, the only, JC from Sunnyside.
Hail to the victors, Zion. Hail to the concrete heroes. Hail to Michigan, the leaders and veterans.
Let's go, Bo!
Hail to the victors, valiant. Hail to the concrete heroes. Hail to Michigan, the champions all the way. Go!
Great to show.
Wow.
The youngins. Great to show the youngins what Michigan football is all about. Excited to be here, Big Reg.
Wow, I can feel that excitement coming all the way over through the Zoom network. Holy smokes. What an unexpected treat, but a very welcome treat indeed. I'm going to raise my first swig of the Coors Light to that wondrous rendition of the Futsu. Hold out. Next, joining us for this recap is the one, the only. Thank goodness he's got some kind of clothes on. Nameless guest.
Hey, greetings from where? Bar Harbor, Maine, on location. This is just a tribute to the dedication that all of us in Michigan Nation have to our team. Love the victory, happy, excited to talk about it. Thank you, Big Reg, producer, everybody.
Telling you, nameless guest, no matter where he is in America, he's still going to be in a supine position.
A lot of hiking, okay?
Oh, the Black Bears were running after you, I guess. Anyway, finally joining us for this recap of a victory. Who knows if he's happy or sad about it? We can't tell sometimes. The one, the only, Mr. Squarehead.
Same story, different season. Can't wait for this panel to just hype up this squad, this team, after a win against Western Michigan. Bring it on, boys. Bring it on.
Wow. Oh, man. Just the dourness. Just the dourness. Look at it. Even his lighting. Look at that. He's sitting in the dark somewhere. Good gravy. Anyways, despite his dour attitude, it will not bring down my shine. As I recap the victory very quickly, it was a 47-14 victory over the Western Michigan Broncos at a packed Michigan stadium. And man, oh man, like producer JB said in his intro, you could feel the electricity, especially when the Michigan Wolverines took the field for the first time. But man, oh man, let's be honest, boys. Let's be honest. Both sides of the ball started off a little slow. The offense couldn't really get things going. The running backs were finding a lot of contact behind the line of scrimmage or right, in front of the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? The defense was struggling a little bit. Western Michigan was getting into a flow with those little passes to the outside. And man, oh man, I'm not going to lie. For a little bit, it looked like, is this going to be another season of struggle? But just slowly, the Michigan Wolverines on both sides of the ball seemed to find their footing. And once they found their footing, they put the pedal to the metal. The defense only allowed one score in the first half. The offense racked up 27 points in the first half. Big play after big play, whether it was Blake Corum, Ronnie Bell, or my man, I don't want to toot my own horn, but my call for breakout player of the year, Cade McNamara, making all the right throws in all the right places. Okay, whether it was a big third down conversion to Eric All or Cornelius Johnson, making the right reads. Oh man, By the end of the first half, the Michigan Wolverines on offense and defense started to hum. And then the defense, once it got into the second half, they really started tightening down the screws. And man, oh man, the Western Michigan Broncos didn't stand a chance, let's be honest. And they only scored that garbage touchdown at the end of the game. That really didn't mean much at all. In fact, the Michigan Wolverines raced out to so big a lead that we were able to bring in two of our future stars. First, J.J. McCarthy. And man, oh man, did he have a highlight play. We'll talk about that later on. And then number two, our in-state homegrown pride and joy, Donovan Edwards. So that was great to see. So I'll raise my glass to the performance of the whole team. Even though they started off a little bit slow, they kept with it, and they got it rolling by the time the game ended in a 47-14 victory.
Oh, blue.
Gentlemen, I'll turn it over to you, and I'll open up the floor to hear your thoughts on this spectacular Game 1 victory.
Let me just get it started because I was actually there, and the atmosphere of the big house was just rocking. Granted, yes, in that first quarter, it was a little bit, everyone was on nerves. I mean, first time in a stadium for that long a period, we just were in high anticipation. But eventually, the crowd relaxed. Everyone was going back to old traditions of cheering. The marching band was out there going around. It just felt like things were back to wonderful, wonderful football times. Now, saying that, I will tell you, when I walked into the stadium, I was really nervous. Didn't know what to expect. By the time I left the stadium, I felt very relaxed. This team still has a lot of work to do. There's not very much that you can totally hang your head on because, agreed, it is Western Michigan. They didn't look very good towards the end part of it. But still, everything that we did, we wanted, we did. People stepped up. Hey, Ronnie Bell, I mean, he was going to have a breakout game. He was doing a lot of things. And I will tell you, once he didn't come up after that injury on that punt or kickoff return, I don't remember which one it was. That left a lot of people just like really, really feeling for Ronnie Bell. We're all hoping for a speedy recovery. I think it's ACL tear, so I think the season's done. But it's next man up. Everyone stepped up because of that. So as soon as that happened, people knew that they had to kind of do their role. This team has a lot of potential. Hope is alive.
Oh.
Hope is alive.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. First of all, I'd like to chime in and say I was very, very, very uncomfortable watching this game. I mean, is there no COVID? It looked like a super spreader event. Hardly anybody wearing masks. I spent the whole time praying to the Lord for protective shield around producer JB to fight off Delta. And to the shout out to the Hahn family who traveled from California to watch this game. I had to pray to the Lord for protection against Delta. This super spreader event. Give me a break. What is this? Back to normal. Nothing's back to normal.
This is what Squarehead comes up with after he asked for a 30-minute delay to the start of this taping. He was scraping. He was scraping for anything to come up against, right? And he didn't say anything about Michigan's game against
yeah,
Michigan.
It's because it's the same story, different season. Go back to the videos from last year, 2 years ago. Every time we play a cupcake team, the first game, you guys are all hyped up. Oh my gosh, this guy looks good. That guy looks good. Michigan's offense on both sides, defense looks great. And then what happens? This is the exact same hype story we get when we play these cupcake teams and we do what we're expected to do. Do something unexpected.
So I need to address this. We were expected to do this because I recall almost everybody on this panel said that we would not cover the spread.
You predicted the game. You predicted the score.
Most of the predictions on M Live, they were saying 31 to 21, 35. It's going to be a tight game. And granted, Western Michigan has a good offense, right? Western Michigan has an above average quarterback. But we won by, what is it? 45 to 17, almost double the spread.
No, 47 to 14.
I call 45-17, which was pretty close to the final score.
So
right?
you called it, so therefore it was expected.
But not everybody else. Not everybody
come
else
on,
here.
man.
Come on, man.
I'm trying to give you credit.
And Big Rock, I want to call out Big Rock for a second. Big Rock, he called 30. We're going to win by 7 points, a touchdown, a late touchdown to win it. Big Rock.
If we're going to talk about predictions, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I did predict 49-9. And at one point in the game, it was 47-7, a 40-point spread, which I had predicted. And it was only because of a meaningless fourth quarter touchdown that my 40-point victory was not to be. But, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I don't want to say I saw it coming, but I did see it coming. You know what I mean? So, there is that. Just saying.
I'm going to add in that if Aiden Hutchinson didn't tip that field goal, I would have had 17, right? They would have had 17.
Come on.
But
anyway, I knew that.
Can we get to the game?
Come up with a big play like that, So, I raised my glass to Aiden Hutchinson for tipping that field goal tip.
But here's what I was impressed with, right? The first quarter, kind of getting familiar with each other. First game, new head coaches, new schemes. But once we got into a rhythm in the second quarter, right, we didn't allow a yard of passing to Western Michigan, who has an above average quarterback, right? The defense clamped down. We started gashing, running the ball. Come on, Squarehead. You got to at least admit the defense looked a lot better than we did last year.
Oh my gosh, Western Michigan. Hey, unnamed, give us your thoughts on this.
Look, I think you made kind of a weak opening point on the whole COVID thing. You get a pass. Square, you get a pass. Your second point, I can't disagree with you. And you made a lot of good points. It is Western Michigan, a quality MAC team. Okay. A MAC team that we should have smacked down. And we did. And I was cautiously hopeful with a very, very weak prediction of my own. I'm going to admit it. More just protecting my own heart, just like the rest of Michigan Nation, scared to hope in this team that has let us down time and time again. All right, no, but they did what they had to do. There's a lot of good things. And one thing I'm not going to do is apologize for being a fan. I love my Michigan team. Okay, so I'm going to celebrate and be happy and be excited for these wins that we really can't hang our hat on too much on. We didn't learn that much, but it was still fun. And we still had some great performances, and I'm happy for our boys. And we got to just keep progressing and showing out, and we'll see when the true tests come. I think most of the smart Michigan fans know this. Come on.
The ability of Unnamed to provide his analysis and straddle defense and flip-flop in just the past 30 seconds, I got to give him props. Baby.
What's untrue about it? We beat a Western Michigan team. It's common knowledge what this is.
But that's what I'm saying. We beat a weak Western Michigan team. Well, come on, let's not say we looked great. I mean, this is what we had to do. This is what we're expected to do.
Okay. Here's two things that I noticed this game that indicated to me that we have progressed since last year. The first thing I noticed was in pass defense. Late in the first half, they went after Vincent Gray two times in a row. I don't know if you remember this play, but they went after Vincent Gray. I think it was like a 3rd and long, and they went after Vincent Gray with a long pass. And that ball was perfectly thrown. It hit the guy almost right in the hands. In the past or last year, Vincent Gray would have either caught the ball or it would have been a pass interference. This time, though, Vincent Gray perfectly timed it and played the ball perfectly and knocked the ball out of the receiver's hands. That showed a lot to me that Vincent Gray was able to do that in a one-on-one situation with a big play on the line. And then it was either the play right after that or maybe 2 plays after that. They went after him again. And he did the same thing. He was able to defend those passes. So to me, that was an indication that this team, or I shouldn't say the whole team, but like specifically the secondary, specifically a guy like Vincent Gray that had a lot of struggles last season with making those kind of plays, he was able to execute. And that to me says a lot. The second thing I'll say, first half, the running backs, the first contact was either at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. True? Would you guys agree with that? The first half, the Broncos defense was getting them pretty much at the line. And they had to either get yards after the first contact, make some jukes, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But as the game progressed, the holes got bigger. As the game progressed, the running backs were able to make the first cut in order to avoid the first contact. And the result of that is in the numbers. Over 300 yards rushing. If we take out the big play by A.J. Henning and the big play by Roman Wilson, that's still almost 200 yards rushing by the running backs. And you got to raise your glass to that. We talked about it last video. Mike Hart and the way that he's been able to coach these group of running backs is already making a difference. It's making a difference. Over 300 yards rushing. You can't poo-poo that away. You can't say that is nothing. You can't ignore 300 yards rushing. I can't remember the last time we had 300 yards rushing. It might have been Tim Biakabatuka versus the Suckeyes.
The 300 yards is a little deceiving because, like you said, because of A.J. Henning's 70-something yard reverse and Roman Wilson, 200
Take
yards.
it away. Still 200 yards rushing.
But what I give
rushing.
Harbaugh credit for and Gaddis credit for is still sticking with the running game so that we can run those counter plays, those reverses, right? Sticking with running through the tackle, opened up the counter plays. Vincent Gray, I know he made the plays, but if you watch the replay, he was still tugging on the jersey, right? So it just didn't have to get called. He was still tugging on the jersey. I think a player that we didn't give any props for that was playing lights out is Dax Hill. He was all over the field, making short-handed tackles behind the line of scrimmage, minimal gains because he just a sure tackler, right? He was all over the field.
Yes.
Shout out to Dax Hill.
I agree. And I want to hear from producer and give you props because, you got to come out and say your piece on this one because another player showed out. And you know what? That's what we can glean from a victory over Western Michigan. You can't judge too much. You can't get overly excited. You can be happy. You can celebrate. It was fun. Not going to apologize for being a fan. Loved it. Happy for our boys. But Blake Corum, he showed us the speed. He showed us he's progressed. I think we can say that even against a Western Michigan. Come on, JB, stand up for your guy.
That was last year.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I didn't want to pick Blake Corum again because I already knew that he was going to have a breakout second season. Let's go, Blake Corum. That kid plays like a faster Mike Hart who can actually catch the ball as well. That swing pass to score the touchdown, was that not beautiful? Was not the punt return or kickoff return also not amazing? This kid is balling out, and rightfully so. This kid is being inspired by Mike Hart. I have to assume, it's just amazing for him to see that. But I did miss on the Roman Wilson prediction from last week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you went away from the pick. You had Blake Corum as you picked, but for whatever reason you abandoned him. It's like selling Bitcoin at 2,000 and then looking up the next day to see a Bitcoin at 50,000. That's what you did. You sold Bitcoin too early, my man.
It's the life of the crypto cowboy and also the Blake Corum fan club. But I still knew my boy was gonna ball out. But that backfield of Hassan Haskins, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, like it gives me a little bit of hope. Gives me a little bit of hope.
Go. I raise my glass to that. To the moon! Hodl, baby!
Hodl!
You want to pivot to another little bit of hope, that tantalizing tease at the end of the game that you kind of foreshadowed already a little bit, Big Reg? Come on.
Let's go on to it.
Are you talking about JJ? Are you talking about
Come on.
JJ?
There's
Hey,
a flash.
I think that one, it is Western Michigan, so that defensive end who was about to tackle him, if that was like some high-end team, it'll be hard to get away from. But still, regardless, like that was an arm throw to go all the way across the field. And it wasn't like that wide receiver like slowed down to like catch the ball. He's still running, caught it. Props to the new receiver too. Like that's catching it and scoring and making every advantage of it. So it's little pieces of that give you a little bit of hope.
And when he threw it, he couldn't really step into the throw either, right? So like it demonstrated his arm strength. It was a phenomenal highlight play. If I break down his other throws, they were a little, some of his throws were a little behind the receiver. He had a couple of swing passes. He had one 11-yard pass. Going back to Big Reg and saying Cade McNamara balled out or showed up.
No.
Like, come on, Big Reg. I mean, he managed the game.
Yeah.
He threw 11 passes, had 2 deflected because he's 5'2".
Oh, God.
But he managed the game. He didn't make any mistakes. And that was his biggest contribution, right?
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? He went 9 for 11. The only 2 incompletions were those 2 batted balls you were talking about, and that was early in the game, okay? When they broke open the game, who was in control? The one, the only, Cade McNamara. Who hit Ronnie Bell with that big old play to bust open the game? Cade McNamara. When it looked like we were going to go 3 and out on the first drive of the season. Who completed the ball to Eric Hall? Cade McNamara. Oh, you guys don't give enough respect to Cade. So I'm going to say this on behalf of Cade and all the Cade supporters. Put some respect on his name. I'll raise my glass to you, Cade McNamara, for all the weight that have been put on your shoulders and being able to carry them and helping this team go on to victory.
Hey, he was willing to throw that ball to Ronnie Bell. I mean, our past quarterbacks would have overthrown way over the guy's head. Like, he released it before that guy was even in full sprint mode. And to that, I say, like, I like that he's willing to do that. I like that the coaches are willing to say, hey, throw the ball up there, because that changed the dynamic of the game. That Ronnie Bell touchdown. He ran into the basketball team in the end zone, and he was high-fiving Juwan Howard. It was like, a little bit of hope.
Well, you know what? Before we go any further, though, we should touch on the Ronnie Bell injury. I feel really bad about that. Yeah, we just hope for the best for Ronnie. Ronnie, keep your spirits up, and we hope that, speed recovery. I don't know. They didn't come out with anything official yet, did they? I don't think
Not official, all speculation right now.
Yeah, all speculation at this point, but we're hoping for the best. But if there's one thing about Ronnie Bell, he's shown in the past up to now that he's got a lot of resilience, a lot of heart. So, I'm more than confident that he has all that it takes to get through this latest hardship. So we raise a glass to Ronnie Bell.
Well said, Big Reg. We all join together. We at the in the shadow of the big house with Coach Juwan Howard. Anything you need, Ronnie Bell, you just let us know. Anything.
What can we provide him? I wish we could actually provide him with something.
Whatever you need.
Well wishes.
Wow. Unnamed guest verbatim quoting Juwan Howard. Anything you need. anything. Wow. Love it. But if there is a position group that is deep enough to compensate for the Ronnie Bell loss, I think it's the wide receiver group. You know, I hate to lose him. Hopefully he comes back strong next year. But we got a pretty deep wide receiver group. So, you know, AJ Henning that could step up, right? Sanistrill needs to step up. One guy that didn't get a lot of attention.
Yep.
Yep.
CJ.
Oh.
Missed.
Whoa.
Sorry, stumbled
Whoa.
there. Misread your mind.
Well, yeah. CJ, he'll need to step up. I was going back to the defensive side of the ball, where his name wasn't called a lot, but if you look at the stats, he led the team in quarterback hurries.
Oh gosh.
Mozzie Smith led the team in quarterback hurries. Didn't show up in the stats, didn't get to the quarterback, but he ate up the blocks, right? They shuffled him out. They shuffled in the big boys in the middle, which was great by McDonald, but Mozzie, that's in my hat today.
How do you even come up with that stat if they don't? There's a quarterback hurry stat.
Oh yeah.
According to MGO Blue as producer, they said that actually Mozzie Smith had 2 quarterback hurries, but also Josh Ross had 2 quarterback hurries. So your information is not totally accurate.
I mean, he led the team. Co-led. Fine. Co-led. Come on.
He had 2 quarterback hurries.
Yes.
That's amazing.
For a guy that's getting double teamed.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think you got triple team and quadruple team sometimes too.
It's true. Mozzie Smith had a big role to play. I would say that though they were gashing the middle a little bit.
Yeah.
In the middle of the game because we're playing at 3-4. But I think one thing that was really good to see on defense was Aiden Hutchinson finally stepping up. Again, I give it to Squarehead. It is Western Michigan. This is not the quality offensive line that you're going to, but
Exactly.
the offensive line is pretty decent. It is pretty decent. But Aiden Hutchinson, 4 solo tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 sack. I mean, we weren't getting the sacks that we're supposed to be getting, but at least he got a sack and a forced fumble. Like, come on.
And we keep saying, you know, I know it's Western Michigan, but hey, they're supposed to win their division, right? They have like most of their players coming back. They're a quality team. They're not Montana, or are they Penn State or Wisconsin? But hey, they're a good team. They're supposed to win the MAC.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Western Michigan, their offensive line has been together for at least 8 years now. You know what I'm saying? And if we all know that if there's one position group that gets better with continuity, it is offensive line. And their offensive line has like a pair of 34-year-olds. You know what I mean? So they've been there for a while. Okay, dude's been through some things. I think one dude has been divorced twice, but whatever. I don't know. I don't know all the details.
Another good sign.
Michigan is not that bad, and their quarterback was pretty good. However, to be totally frank and fair, they did lose their number 1 receiver early in the game.
Okay.
So there's that.
Another glimmer of hope. Eric All.
Yeah.
He caught every pass, didn't drop anything. Last year he was the drops. This year, hey, sure-handed.
If there was a flip-flop from last year to this year, it is definitely Eric All. From all drops to all catches. So I raise my glass to Eric All.
All the time.
The ability of you guys to squeeze out this much hope from a game against our first game against Western Michigan just does not cease to amaze me year after year after year. And yet we know how this story ends every season since Harbaugh has come here. The expectations are high. We go on and say we did this and that against Western Michigan, against, I don't know, the cupcakes that we play, even some Big Ten teams. And then we know how the season ends. Ever since Harbaugh stepped foot on campus. We know how this story is going to play out, folks. Mark my words.
That story is started before Harbaugh anyway. So what you're talking about that this season ain't any different.
You know, I gotta hand it to McDonald again. The difference between Don Brown and McDonald is obvious. So the adjustments he made.
I agree.
Right, so he ran Dax off the corner to blitz. It was biting us in the first quarter. He pulled away from it. But then once they got down big and they knew that it was obvious, they had to 3rd and 10, he brought that back. The blitzes weren't on every down. It was unpredictable.
Yep.
Great game plan from a defensive standpoint by McDonald. Hats off to him.
One freaking game.
Yeah, more than just this game. I'm not getting overly excited about that at all. But I like McDonald, and what I like about him is that I just have a lot of trust in him to continue to learn and grow, and get to know this team, make even more adjustments game to game, not even within the game, and improve this defense. I do have hope for a growing and improving defense as the season goes along.
It was so refreshing. So refreshing. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to watch how the game played out to know that Mike McDonald saw something that wasn't working, adjusted, and then as the game progressed, things started working better. Because like we said, in the beginning, the first half, or I shouldn't say the first half, but the first quarter, like JC Bolsonaro was saying, the pressure that they were trying to put on was not getting to the quarterback. And the quarterback was making a lot of completions to the outside. But as the game went on, those completions went away because of the adjustments that were made on defense. And then the pressure started to get into the quarterback. He couldn't make the throws. And then, like I said, I think, sure, our cornerbacks and our secondary might have had some struggles here and there, but the way that they were able to show in individual battles a lot of progress versus last season, for me, is an indication that this defense and the way that the coaches are working with the players is having a positive effect. And for positive effects, Maurice McGlass.
Like unnamed guest said, I'm not going to apologize for being a fan here. All right. Like unnamed guest says, I'm not going to apologize for being a fan. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Excited.
Right. Night game coming up against Washington. Right. May's out. I'm reading every article this week. I'm excited. I'm excited as a fan. Right. September 11th. Right. Get the F-16 so the stealth bomber can fly over. Man. Excited. Come on, Squarehead. Even you.
Oh, I'm excited. Based on this game, I think we're going undefeated. But undefeated, baby. So excited. So excited to beat this great MAC team on the first game of the season that just came out. Both sides of the ball. So excited.
And question for you guys. We've been talking a lot of stocks and markets and financial business. Come on. Is this stock up, sideways, or down? And this stuff matters. Stock way up, okay? Momentum matters. Momentum trading. Come on, all this matters. These young boys that are making commitments, they follow this stuff.
Man. At best, we're sideways. I'm not going to say we're going down because we did win a game, and I'm not going to apologize for being a fan. I'll be the first one out there to say I want Michigan to win every single game. Fire Harbaugh. But anyways, all I'm saying is you can't say this stock is going up based on one game against Western Michigan. If at best it's going sideways. Come on, man. Let's temper our expectations here, Fire Harbaugh.
Come on.
I say, Squarehead, you have a valid point. We're not going down, at least, because last season, every game after Minnesota was just going down, 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 down. So, yeah, let's see what happens next week at Washington, even though they were ranked and they got upset by FCS teams. I mean, let's see what happens next week. But you got to have that little bit of hope. You got to have that little bit of hope of going in.
And what were we saying when we beat Minnesota last year after that first game? Come on, man. It's going sideways, unnamed. Sideways. Let's temper our expectations.
Listen to Blake Corum. It was a little cheesy, but it does ring a little true. You can't be 2-0 until you win game one. Have you heard of crescendo, the beautiful music that we heard in the intro, that wonderful surprise, the music of winning 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, crescendo, baby. This is how it begins. That's all I can say. This is where we are. Hey, and Conerly, the 5-star OT, coming to town, watching the game against the Huskies, who are teetering right now.
Wow.
Hey, stars are aligning. We need this kind of stuff to start happening. Come on, let's be a fan. Let's have a little hope. We need things to go our way.
And next Saturday, Domani is going to be in the house. Domani Jackson. Come on, Domani.
I don't know if he's gonna show up. He got injured, so.
I know.
He might
Oh,
not.
wait, that was a fizzle. Ugh.
I'm still hoping for Double Dragon, though. I got the NIL ideas all set up for Double Dragon. Willie Johnson and Domani Jackson Double Dragon. Oh, man. The T-shirts, the merch that we could sell. Holy smoke, let's get it done.
The last point. I mean, hope rebellions are built on hope. I said that last week. But you have to see little glimmers of things popping around that make you believe that something positive is happening. Last year, I don't want to say who the quarterback was. I don't want to say who, the defensive coordinator was, but little snippets of things actually going right made me feel more and more comfortable as the game went on. At that point, third quarter, I was like ready to go. This game's in the bag. We got this. And as we're leaving the stadium, walking away towards Pioneer High School, you just hear another eruption of a roar because they scored another touchdown. I mean, that's the kind of feeling that you want to have. I didn't have that last year. That's the thing that I didn't want to experience at a stadium. So thank goodness that they, didn't allow the public to be there. But it's those things that just start to ignite the flame again. Light the fire, and let's see this thing grow.
I mean, because I look at it this way. In the first half, even after a slow start on both sides of the ball, we were up 20, what was it, 27?
Yeah, 27-7.
27-7. We were up 27-7 even after a slow start on both sides of the ball. But
How
then
is it
by the third quarter rolled around, there was no doubt. There was zero doubt about the game. So much so that we were like, you know what? Throw in the freshman. Let them get a taste. Let them get a taste of what it's like to play in the big house. Let them get a taste to hear the crowd cheering their names. Let them get a taste of what it feels like to score a touchdown and hear the victors. Hail to the victors.
Same story, different season.
Oh my gosh! Would you stop it with
Same
the same
story, different.
No,
And how is it a slow start?
Last season, at the Minnesota game, did we put in our third string quarterback at any point? Did we?
Because
No, we
Minnesota
didn't.
was a ranked team.
Dan Biliari
Minnesota was a ranked team that we played, and we beat.
We were up 47-7.
Western
Okay?
Michigan.
So this is the same thing as last season.
And it's not a
season-
slow. That was a spectacular start.
Last season, did Joe Milton go 9 for 11? No, he didn't. Last season, did Joe Milton make key third down?
Come on, man.
Didn't.
Last season we went 2 and
did Joe
4.
Milton hit a 75-yard strike for a touchdown? No, he didn't. So don't give me this thing about it's the same thing as last season.
Of course.
Hey, McNamara is a difference. The running back core is a difference. The defense is a difference. So when you keep making this argument that it's the same as last season, it all rings false. I'm not going to say that we're going to win the national championship
Same as
based
last
on beating
season
Western
is
Michigan,
not literal.
but I am going to
Come
say
on,
with
man.
total confidence
Come
that
on.
it is not the same as last season.
Of course it's not same literally. We didn't even play Western Michigan last season.
Oh my God!
Come on, man.
That is your only argument that it's not literally the same as. Oh my gosh!
Look.
Oh my gosh.
I think all of us.
Your arguments this week from the start that it was a COVID super spreader to now that's not literally the same, it are the two worst arguments.
You
that have
can't.
ever been
You
made
can,
on
you
this
can't.
show.
You can't
And it just
understand.
proves that you are scraping.
Wait, you
Scraping
can't
for
understand when
anything.
I say it's the same story,
Oh,
different season.
God.
What that means? Well, you thought that I meant we're playing the exact same teams with the exact same players? Come
Look,
on, man.
I am saying that it is not the same story. I am saying that this story is that this team is showing market improvements in key areas versus last year's team. That's what I am saying. Quarterback play, defense, secondary, running game, all these
Western
key
Michigan.
areas that are needed for victory.
Western
this
Michigan.
team is
We did the
showing
same thing
key
last season
improvement.
against Minnesota. We played well enough to beat them. We did it the previous season. It's a similar story, different season. I rephrase.
Anyways, so let's continue onwards to something else.
Look, I get what Squarehead is saying, right? I get it. We have to just kind of temper ourselves a little bit because, hey, we didn't play Oregon or we didn't play Alabama and we beat them. But Squarehead. You have to admit there's improvement. And I think Mike Hart, McDonald, culture change. There's a cultural change happening.
Here, I got to chime in. I think the problem here is that Big Red and now even JC, I didn't think you'd fall into the same camp, are being reeled in by the Squarehead here. Okay, you've been hooked real good here. He has absolutely shorted the Jim Harbaugh-led Michigan team. He calls himself a fan. There's nothing that can ever happen that will ever change the take, which is a fine take.
Absolutely,
to have.
Absolutely. There's something that can happen
Nothing
unnamed.
nothing will
Absolutely.
change.
You know what there's one thing that can happen, and you know what that is. You know what it is. Say it.
Fire Harbaugh.
It's fire Harbaugh.
And so, we're going to have different takes, and it's kind of pointless to try to, convince something that's going to be a permanent take, right? And let's just air out what we think. We'll let the viewers, all 20, decide what we say here. Come on.
So, I mean, that's a great point to put
Comment. Who do you think is right?
Exactly. Let our viewers comment in the section down below to see
Yes.
what your thoughts are on, is Squarehead unreasonable? Is Big Reg too idealistic in what's going on? Give us your thoughts. Put them in the comment below. Help us. Give us some questions to talk about us. Otherwise, these two are just going to go on forever on this show. So put them in the comments. Click the link to subscribe. Let's hear from you guys. We want to hear from you, and we want to address your questions out there.
I want to call out one person in particular. I want to call out Big Rock. Big Rock always texts me comments, and I'm thinking, Big Rock, you should put these comments in the comment section.
Yes, Big Rock. Put your text
Put 'em in the
online. Put it. Come on, type them in there.
We want to hear from all of you about what your thoughts were from this game. Did you see it like we saw it, or are you a Squarehead too? Camp Squarehead. So let's hear from you all and get ready for the next episode that we're going to try to film for Washington. LeMay's out. That's going to happen next week. So let's get that ready for that.
Producer JB, are you trying to close out the show? Is that what you're trying to do right now?
I'm trying to get this over with. Yes.
All right. Well, with that in mind then, gentlemen, we raise our Coors Lights and whatever other drinks you have choice. We always say at the end of every video, go blue!
Go blue!
Go blue!